The text came through just after noon. I was sitting in my car outside the airport, the return ticket still in my pocket. Having lunch with Jason, just call an Uber. It read, followed by a little heart emoji. Jason. The name hit me like a punch. My wife, Melissa, had mentioned him once or twice before. A co-worker, she said, was good at making everyone laugh in the office. I never thought much of it. Until now. The thing is, Melissa wasn't supposed to know I was back in town. I had flown out for a last-minute work trip to Chicago, and was scheduled to return late the following evening. But meetings wrapped up early, and instead of calling her, I thought it would be fun to surprise her. I imagined walking through the door with takeout from her favorite Thai place, watching her smile light up the room. But that text shattered every part of the plan. Why was she having lunch with Jason instead of me? Why tell me to just call an Uber? As if she wasn't available, as if I didn't matter. My hands tightened around the phone, anger mixing with a sick, twisting dread. I didn't respond. Instead, I decided to follow the thread she had carelessly dangled. I drove downtown, near the row of cafes where she liked to spend her lunch breaks. My heart hammered in my chest as I circled the streets, searching. And then I saw her, Melissa, sitting by the window of a chic little bistro I'd never been to. Her laughter spilling out across the glass like a sound I no longer recognized. She wasn't alone. Jason was there, leaning in far too close, his hand resting casually on the table, just inches from hers. The way she looked at him, the way her eyes sparkled, it was the look she used to give me when we first started dating. My chest tightened, a painful reminder of what I'd been missing in our marriage lately. I parked the car and sat there for a long moment, torn between storming inside and exposing the betrayal right then and there. Or waiting, watching, letting the truth unfold in its rawest form. My entire world suddenly felt like it was balanced on the edge of a knife. Melissa had no idea I was still in town, but she was about to find out. I forced myself to stay calm, even as my stomach churned. I stepped out of the car, walked across the street, and pushed open the door of the cafe. The little bell overhead chimed, but neither Melissa nor Jason noticed. They were lost in their own world, laughing, whispering, leaning closer than two co-workers ever should. I walked straight up to their table. Melissa's face drained of color the instant she saw me. Her fork slipped from her hand and clattered against the plate. Jason froze, his smile stiffening into something awkward and guilty. "John," Melissa stammered, her eyes wide. "What are you doing here? I thought you were in Chicago until tomorrow." I pulled out the chair opposite her and sat down, my voice low but steady. "Meetings ended early. I figured I'd surprise my wife. Imagine my surprise when I got your text." Jason cleared his throat, fumbling for words. "Hey man, this isn't what it looks like. We were just..." I cut him off with a sharp look. "Save it. I don't need a lecture from the guy sneaking into my wife's lunch hour." Melissa's hands trembled as she reached for her glass of water. "It's not what you think, John. Jason and we're just friends. He's been helping me with some work stuff." "Friends?" I echoed, leaning forward. "Friends don't look at each other the way you were looking at him. Friends don't text their husband to call an Uber while they're on a date." Her face flushed red. She opened her mouth to protest, but the lie never made it past her lips. The silence between us was heavier than anything I had ever felt. For the first time in years, I saw guilt etched plainly across her features. Jason shifted uncomfortably in his chair, then muttered something about needing to get back to the office. He stood, gave Melissa a fleeting glance, and walked out, leaving us alone in the wreckage. I stared at her, waiting for the apology, waiting for some shred of truth. Finally she sighed, her shoulders slumping. "It's not serious, John. It's just lunch. I needed someone to talk to. You've been so busy, so distant, and Jason was just..." I held up my hand. Don't put this on me. If you needed someone to talk to, you could have chosen me. But you didn't." Her eyes filled with tears, but I felt nothing but a cold, hollow emptiness. For 16 years, I had given her everything, my loyalty, my time, my love. And here she was, throwing it away for a cheap thrill at a lunchtime cafe. Melissa reached across the table, her hand trembling as if she could somehow pull me back with a touch. "John, please, it's not what it looks like. I swear I still love you." Jason doesn't mean anything, he's just a distraction. I didn't think you'd ever find out. Her words cut deeper than silence ever could. She admitted it, not outright, but enough. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the woman I had once trusted with everything. A distraction. I repeated slowly, tasting the bitterness of it. That's what our marriage has become to you. Something you escape from with another man. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She tried to explain, to justify, to paint herself as a victim of loneliness. But every word only made the pit in my chest grow wider. I thought about the late nights I spent working extra hours to give her the life she wanted. The trips I planned, the sacrifices I made, the patience I showed when she grew distant. None of it mattered. To her, I had become invisible. I stood up. Melissa grabbed my wrist desperately. Don't leave, John. Please. We can fix this. I'll cut Jason off. I'll do whatever it takes. For a moment, I almost wavered. 16 years of marriage doesn't just vanish overnight. But then I remembered the look in her eyes when she laughed with Jason. The spark I hadn't seen in years. The same spark she once reserved for me. She had chosen to give that part of herself away. And no amount of promises could erase it. I pulled my wrist free. My voice came out steady, final. Melissa, you already made your choice. And now I'm making mine. Her sobs followed me as I walked out of the cafe, but I didn't turn back. Not once. Outside, the afternoon sun felt blindingly bright, almost mocking. But for the first time in years, I felt a strange clarity. Painful, yes, but also freeing. When I got home, I began gathering my things. Not in a rage, not in haste, but with deliberate calm. The life we had built was over. She had gambled it away for a few stolen moments with Jason. And I refused to play the fool any longer. The next morning, Melissa woke to an empty house and divorce papers waiting on the kitchen counter. My note was short, only 2 sentences. You told me to call an Uber. I'm taking your advice. Only this time, I'm not coming back.